I know some people were expecting Stan. Stan is being selfish at some sort of sports game today with his son.
Well, at least he brought his son.
Yeah. Once you have tasted flight, you will forever walk the earth with your eyes turned skyward. For there you have been, and there you will always long to return. Leonardo da Vinci. I like to fly. In fact, I love to fly. I love going to the airport. I love seeing all the different people. I love the little restaurants. I love the $2 bottle of water. I mean, I love to fly. I love finding my gate. I'm always proud I can do that. And waiting and seeing and hearing the conversations and the energy, and sometimes it just seems like a different planet to me. Everybody is coming and going, and everybody has their suitcases, or most people do, and they're going somewhere, or they're coming from somewhere, and it's all very exciting to me. I love going into the little tunnel and going up to the plane and listening to the engines and listening to how they change and sitting in the seats. And people are surrounding me, and then I love taking off because it's really fun, and I go really fast, and sometimes it gets a little bumpy, which is fun too, because it's sort of like a ride. And I love looking down and seeing everything, and day or night, I absolutely love to fly. But I haven't always loved to fly. In fact, a few years ago, I was on a really small plane, and I did not realize what turbulence felt like, not like that. And I was in a plane, and I felt like I was in this strange can. And I was thinking that it seems unnatural that a plane should be in the air, or anything, Seems unnatural that we should be able to fly. And it wasn't bumps, it was more like falling and coming up, and falling and coming up. And I realized that I had absolutely no control over this plane, and there was absolutely nothing I could do, and the turbulence was terrible. And since then, for a while, I was very scared of flying. In fact, I would go to the airport, dreading going to the airport, dreading walking to the gate, hating to see all the people with their stupid bags going back and forth. Hating the conversations that I was overhearing. Everything was just getting on my nerves about flying. Hated going into that little tube that would bring me into what I consider to be a death trap. And hated being in this strange can-looking thing that shouldn't be up in the air. I hated it. But then I remembered, or I thought, that whether I am scared, happy, frustrated, nervous, no matter what I'm feeling, if something's going to happen to the plane and I'm on the plane, there's nothing I can do about it. So I might as well enjoy the flight. I also remember thinking that somewhere along the line, being in that airplane that was going up and down, I stopped trusting the pilot. I stopped trusting that the plane knew what it was doing. And I stopped believing that things are going to be okay. So when I realized that I could trust the pilot, and when I realized that if anything were to happen, there's absolutely nothing I can do, so I might as well just enjoy it, then I started really loving to fly, and I really do. I think sometimes it's easier said than done, though. I mean, flying, it takes a couple hours, maybe a half a day, sometimes longer. But living our life, sometimes for me, it's easier said than done. I mean, there are so many situations that we or I or some of us don't always have control over. We don't have control over how we feel sometimes when we drop our kids off at school for the first time. We don't have control over if somebody is happy or sad sometimes. We don't have control over traffic. We don't have control over certain situations in the future. We don't have control over so many things. And I wonder, when I'm working in a counseling situation, I wonder if sometimes when we're going through things that we don't have control over, if we start to feel like we do have control, if we start to blame ourselves, if I have started to blame myself over certain situations because it's easier to feel like I have control over them. If I have no control over something, then I cannot change it, and that's scary. So I do believe that during those situations, I can trust that something else, someone else, there's something out there that has some control over the situation, and I can trust that. And when I start trusting in that, I start feeling more hope. I also believe that there are certain times in life that whether I'm upset, scared, sad, happy, depressed, whatever it is, it's going to be the same outcome. So I have the choice to enjoy the ride, no matter how bumpy it can be. Now I even like the bumps. Or I have the choice to be scared and concerned. So, last time I flew, the most pleasant experience I had was last time that I flew. It was at night. I was coming home at night, and it was about 11:30. And there was a place where I could see the houses. Like I was in the plane, and I could see the houses in the neighborhoods. And I really looked at this, and it dawned on me that I couldn't tell how big or how small the houses were. They looked about the same size to me. But what was really interesting is at a certain distance, it looked like every house had its light on. So I could see the houses and the little itty bitty light. And I thought that was kind of strange. And I started wondering how much certain things meant, how important certain things are. Is it important to have a big house or a small house? Is it important to live in a certain way? And I wondered, and this is what I was thinking in my mind, if content of character could be viewed by the size of the house. And then I'm thinking all these things in the plane. I started wondering if King Arthur from the musical Camelot, if he was right. If anyone remembers the musical Camelot, Merlin, the magician, turned King Arthur into a bird. And when King Arthur landed, Merlin said, "What did you see?" And King Arthur said, there were no borders. I wondered also if problems seem as small from a distance. There's a business term that is flying at 30,000 feet. And that means to step back and look at the big picture. Often in the big picture, I think borders disappeared. Meanwhile, the light from the houses still shine. I do work as a counselor, and I do have some friends as well, and I notice that sometimes my friends, sometimes clients, their life starts falling apart. And I have this one friend, his life is changing drastically. His wife doesn't know if she wants to be with him or not, which to me is worse than making a decision. Like, it's all in limbo. And he's not able to see his children as much as he would like. And his wife doesn't seem to like him right now, and he doesn't seem to like his wife, and he can't stay at home, and his whole life is falling apart. Which, I mean, in some ways, maybe that has happened to all of us. Our whole life changes drastically. Our whole life falls apart. And what he's doing is he's not liking himself very much. He's blaming himself for everything, which some of it is maybe his responsibility, but not everything. So I do wonder if that's his way of feeling in control of the situation. If he takes responsibility for everything, then maybe he can control it. But also, what is happening is he is breaking to rebuild. And I had a colleague one time tell me that she believes that, and I've said this before, and it was so profound to me that I'm going to repeat it. I had a colleague say to me one time that she believes people often or sometimes break to rebuild, and then when they rebuild, they become stronger. So, like as glass will break, we are then in little pieces, and then we come together as something very strong, much stronger. So my friend is breaking to rebuild, and in some ways, and maybe not as dramatic, in some ways, I am also breaking to rebuild. I live in Nashville right now, and I don't love the house that I live in. So we bought a condo, and we're transitioning from the house to the condo. And I brought my friend over who works on houses. He's not an inspector, but he's a good friend, and he looked at the condo and he said, yeah, this is a good buy. So we're buying this condo, and we then realized that the floors have to be redone. So the floors have to be taken out to the joists, and some of the walls need to be redone, so some of the walls have to be taken out. And it's a really big project, which we knew it was going to be a project, but this is, and it's usually bigger than we realize, but it's bigger than we thought it would be. So basically what's happening is the whole house is down, or the whole condo is down to the studs. And it's frustrating. It is. But this is also what's happening. Is I'm picking out the cabinets, I picked out the floors, I picked out everything that I need, picking out the way the walls are going to look. I'm able to redo some of the walls completely differently. And what's happening is I'm making it my own. My husband doesn't have as much of a say. He doesn't. But he's letting me have these decisions, which is very gracious of him. But I'm making it my own. And when it's done, it's going to be more beautiful than when it started. Hasn't ever gone through this before. So it's going to be better, and it's going to be stronger, and it's going to be exactly what it is that I want. And I wonder if sometimes in our lives, or sometimes in my life, we do this little by little. And then sometimes something big happens and we do this even larger. So I don't think this is the only time that I've broken, even on a smaller scale, to rebuild. But I do believe that this is something that I can look at, and something that will become more profound. There's something about this condo that I just really love, so I'm really excited about it. My friend is not as optimistic. My friend is breaking in a different way. My friend whose wife doesn't know if she wants to be with him or not. My friend told me that he had a dream that he was at a really scary party with really scary people. And all of a sudden, he started flying up above the party. And in my mind, I think when I fly, or when I hear other people fly, I think they're flying above everything, and they're able to look at a different angle, at a different perception, but also they're coming out of something that may have been very bad. So he's flying over this party, flying over all of this damage and hurt, and he's talking with his friend who's also flying about the life he's going to have. And the life he's going to have, and the dream was going to be absolutely beautiful. He did tell me his life was falling apart. And I think we all have felt that way. But I also think that we do rebuild, and I've said it before, but it just means so much to me. We do rebuild to become stronger. This condo that I love, I wouldn't have loved it 10 years ago. I'm a different person now because I've broken and rebuilt. So, my friend, when he had this dream, his perspective changed. It was almost as if he saw that light at his house. His issues that he thought were large looked a little smaller from the perspective that he was in. So from this, I can understand that I do not have to have control when I trust. And there are so many things out there that seem to show me that I can trust even when I don't even understand it, even when I don't see it, even when it doesn't make any sense. There's something that I can trust. Even if it's trusting my light in the light of others. Often it seems that I'm not the only one. Often it seems that I'm not the one who's piloting the plane. And often I don't think I want to. I understand that if I'm having a negative feeling about something, I can give my time and patience to achieve peace, even if I am not in control of the situation. This isn't easy, but if I truly remember that with patience comes peace, I can learn that I am somewhat in control of how I perceive the situation. And this is stated in this book. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, Alan Loco's The Art of Peaceful Living, Patience in the Art of Peaceful Living. It's one of my favorite books. But in it, he writes, I started perceiving that when something went wrong and I reacted to it negatively, I would lose 2 or 3 more hours, sometimes even days. That obviously wasn't productive. I thought no matter whose fault it is, it's me who's losing this time. It's me who's losing this precious human life. Whatever has been done wrong is already done. I cannot do anything to change it. Whenever something goes wrong, I say whatever has happened is past. What is next is important. If I lament on what has already happened, I lose my patience and I'm losing my next moment. This approach just helped me a lot. So it's a really good book. I love it. And I find myself going to this way of thinking, going to this book often. And this week, I've actually had a couple things happen. I double booked an appointment, which I still feel bad about, but I can't do anything to change it. I can't undo it. The person was very gracious. And I realized that I was beating myself up a lot for this. I'm in school right now. I'm studying religion, and I wrote a paper, and I was about to post it. It was going to be a day late, but I was about to post it. Somehow I didn't post it, so now it's a week late. Yeah. I can't do anything to change it, and it took me a little while, but I'm okay with it. So there's many of these things that happen, and many of these things that I cannot change, many of these things that I cannot control. And if I think this way, then I can better enjoy flying. I can find peace, and I can notice that each house has a light. Big problem or small problem, big house or small house, in the end, aren't we just walking each other home?